I'm here at Speakers Boot Camp, very excited. I'm going to be presenting after lunch and doing something kind of creative. I have 4 topics that I've been debating about speaking on, and I can't decide, so I'm going to have the audience decide. So I'll have somebody write on a piece of paper each of the topics and put it in a hat, and then have somebody draw, and then I'll go. So crossing my fingers, hope it goes well, and excited to share with y'all. Bye.
What's about to happen has never happened in the history of Speakers Boot Camp. It's never happened in the history of Personality Insights. As a matter of fact, I only found out about it a few minutes ago. Our next speaker is none other than my youngest daughter, Susanna Rome. Today we have a dynamic speaker who is ready to keep us all on our toes. Susanna is versatile and experienced presenter with a passion for authentic conversations and real-life insights. With expertise across a multitude of areas or multiple areas, she can easily give a powerful speech on a number of topics that have shaped her personal and professional life. However, instead of her picking the subject herself, she's decided to do something a little bit different that's never been done before, to my knowledge, and I've been in every Speakers Boot Camp. She wants this to be a fun experience for all of us. So Susanna will let fate decide about her talk. In a moment, someone from the audience will draw one of 4 topics from a hat. And that will be what she's going to present to us today. She will dive right in on one of 4 topics and present to us. Please help me welcome from Sandy Springs, Georgia, my loving 4th-born baby girl, Susanna Rome.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. This is a bit unique. I'm going to bring this piece of paper to life, and y'all will be able to help me do that. So I'm going to hand this to JJ and provide 4 topics that he can put in this cup. So I'm going to give you the topic names, and thank you for being an assistant for me. So let me know once you're ready, and I'll give you the topics. Diana's going to be drawing out of the cup, so thank you very much, Diana. Okay, the power of TikTok.
I like that.
Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, why AI?
We like that too. Why?
Why AI?
And she does a good which one.
Number 3, dating in 2024.
I should listen to that.
And number 4, 5 things. Just put 5 things, please. Okay, if you don't mind, fold them up. Put them in the cup that matches my outfit, please. Thank you. Okay. All right, thank you. Good shake, good shake. Okay, thank you. Okay. So for those of you that believe in God, I've written out one speech before you read the topic. I had written out one, and I just wasn't sure if God wanted me to present that one, because that one's more about my life. So the other 3 are a little lighter. So I wanted to leave it in God's hands, or if you believe in fate or the universe. So what is our topic?
Dating in 2024.
Okay, thank you. All right, dating in 2024. All right, wonderful. So again, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here today, and unfortunately, I get to share with you about this topic. So for those of you, I love the idea of snapping. I think that's fun, as opposed to the traditional raise your hand. So if you will, please snap with me if you have ever been on a date. Okay, now snap with me if you have ever been married. Okay, everyone. Snap with me if you're still married. And lastly, snap with me if you have kids. Okay, wonderful. So what does any of this have to do with dating in 2024? Since you all really don't fall in the category of needing to know about this topic, but I believe you're just one fight away from joining this journey with me. So let me share with y'all what it is like to date in 2024. I almost like to say 2025 because we're almost into next year, and how this impacts you. So there are several factors in the journey that you have to consider. Where you would meet someone. So there are options of meeting someone organically, meeting someone at the grocery store, your Uber Eats delivery driver. You could decide to join a cycling group or a painting class or some sort of hobby that you love and find somebody that's aligned in your hobbies as well. So that might be a nice place to meet someone. Then deciding on the profile that you want to put out there for other people, as well as what profiles you're interested in of dating someone. So y'all may not be on this journey right now, and I joke and hope that you stay married forever because this is a nightmare. But no, I'm just kidding. But it is part of my journey, and whether or not you're married, you do know people that are single. And I think that's why this is pertinent to all audiences, because I have my experience of friends that I've known who are married couples that include me, friends that I've known that only get together with couples. And so I think it's just an awareness all around that I'd like to share with you, that whether or not you're on this journey, embrace those who are and check on them, because we're not okay. So from here, I just wanted to share with you, there's a plethora, as we love that word in the Rome family. There are a plethora of dating apps that you can join. If you're more serious about dating, you should just do an arranged marriage. If you want to date someone for the potential of marriage, you might want to join, singles that mingle, or christianfish.com. So there's a lot of different Christian ones, or ones that maybe you share, farmers.com. I think that might be a good avenue for me because I want to live on a farm. But so there are farmers looking for wives. There are other more casual dating sites. So that people know on Tinder, that's just what I would term as a hookup site. So it's not for anyone that's looking for maybe a serious relationship, although some may be, and they just may be on that. You do have to pay for these apps if you want to have the benefits of more features, and so these apps are making quite a bit of money for the amount of people that are on these apps. That being said, as you continue on in your journey and you pick a platform, because you're busy and you work and you grocery shop and maybe travel here and there, it's challenging to find the time to meet somebody. You don't want to meet somebody at a bar, so you get on an app and then you embark on this journey of being on the app. So as it has you set up your profile, so you think of your best 3 or 4 pictures that you might choose about yourself, right? Or you help your single friend and say, I would choose these 4 or 5 pictures. There's something called catfishing. Does anybody know what that is? Would you like to share with us what catfishing is?
Sure. Catfishing is when you present yourself as something you're not online, so that
Yes.
you can hook someone without them knowing who you actually are.
Absolutely. That can come in the form of who you are and your personality, or it could come in the form of what you look like. So if you think of AI photos, generated photos, people can deceive people out there. So there's a lot of things to vet out. So stay married. There's a lot of vetting to do, okay? So from there, you set up your profile, of course, you're going to say the most positive things about yourself. You don't want to put your best foot forward because you only have a snapshot in order to be able to do that. So So you put your most positives. You don't say why the last person maybe broke up with you or why you broke up with someone. Yeah, you don't want to put your flaws on there, although I think that might be very transparent. But each relationship is unique and different. So you want to put your snapshot of you, what your hobbies are, and then from there you get to see the profiles that they have created for themselves. And so I have just a few parameters in which, so then when you sign up, you either right swipe, which means that you are interested in the person when you look at their profile, or you left swipe, which means that you will never see them again. And which is very unfortunate when you get distracted and you're like, oh, this looks great, and you look up and then you accidentally left swipe. And then, so that you will, that's it, yeah, so that's never going to be a match you have. So as you're swiping, as they call it, as you're swiping through these profiles to see, it will populate based on an algorithm what your most similarities are to the potential suitors. Additionally, they'll populate the most attractive people in the beginning, so they want you to sign up for their platform, and from there, everybody just gets worse and worse looking. So this is true. But also you can't base things on what somebody looks like, because I've gotten to know people that I've been attracted to, whether it is just a person or a friendship or, and versus somebody that you think is very handsome, or maybe in the first populated photos that is nobody you would ever date because they're so shallow or immoral, whatever the differences may be there. So from there, what I've decided is just some for sure no-goes is if we aren't aligned in our compatibility, if they have a shirtless photo of them in the mirror, if they're wearing a tank top, sorry, men that like tank tops, I don't think that's attractive. And for men, they also have their parameters. So they say if a woman has just all headshots, that means that she's fat. And so I had one guy who I came to the date, he was already at the table, so he hadn't stood up. So I'm sitting there, we're having dinner, we have a nice time, we've talked about the dating app, we've talked about how long have you been on there, chat, I can talk to anybody for 3 hours and I can make them laugh. But, so he's telling me, oh, you had full body shots on, you had, I could see, what you looked like, so I knew that you weren't fat. And so he said, I have made an exception before that I went out with somebody who their headshots were, I just saw their headshot and I went out with them and it turns out that they were overweight. And I said, oh, and then I'm thinking I like tall people, but so we stand up after the date and he's about right here on me, about right here. And I was thinking, well, you lied about your height, so I'm not sure why you're judging other people's headshots, because you're clearly not 5'10", So, again, lots. This is like a full-time job. It could be. So, yes. So from there, vetting them out. So I like to think of, when I am going to go on a date, I don't know if I'm going to get, catfished, killed, or fall in love. Yes. So, but moving on. From here, I am going to just take a second. If anybody's familiar of the statistics of online dating, you might say, why even put yourself through all this? Not just because you want to hang out with other people, but I want companionship. And the statistics show that 20 to 30% of the dating pool that's in there those relationships do convert to marriage. So that's a pretty good statistic. And that is how people, it sounds like we have one in the audience that has met online. That's awesome. Congratulations. So, yes, and from here, I wanted to share that I do have a couple of ideas of my own dating app that I think would be great. First of all, I'm not sure why AI doesn't just go ahead and match us. AI knows what I Google, it knows what I shop for, it knows where I live, it knows how I spend my money, it knows everything about me. And that's just the nature of having a phone. You don't have to just say, hey Siri, for her to listen to you, which she is now. But it's always listening to us. I mean, you can be scared of the future, but you're already living in it right now by even having a phone. So the realities of our life is that it is always listening. It does have a meta file of our data and who we are, and it captures all that information. So I think I shouldn't have to do this part-time job and vet it out. It should just tell me, throw it on my calendar, be at the Mexican restaurant at 6:30 on Wednesday night. That's what I think it should do. And then I'll go and see if there's chemistry in person. I don't want to do all the legwork of this. So I think a great app would be for AI to just go ahead and match you based on the DISC assessments, right? We can throw that in there as one of the qualifiers. So that was my first thought. And then another one would be called Hype. And Hype would be where it's like LinkedIn. If y'all are on LinkedIn, you see at the bottom of LinkedIn, you ask people to give you like a kind of a referral or a thumbs up of what type of person you are to work with or work for or work under. And I think a Hype app would be neat to have, like, let's say, you know, hey, JJ, I'm going to send it to 3 people, 3 of my friends. Would you hype me up? And you'll make a video of yourself that's a minute or less and saying, I've known Susanna for 25 years. She's been on this long journey. I can attest to her strengths and weaknesses. She's great. Definitely recommend her to go out with her. So I think that would be a really neat app. The data for that, and you know, I'd have to find a developer. But the data for that with the video footage, I think is says a lot, because you can, and it would have to be verified. So I think that there's ways of doing that. So those are my ideas for some more. Solidification of who you are and what your friends look like, even, because it could give you some feeling of that's my people or that's not really my people. So that is my my thought for the 2 apps. If any web developers are sitting in the audience, I'd love to collaborate with you. And I haven't seen a time card. Sorry, I don't know if we're doing this today or. Good. Oh, okay. Sorry. So from here, I know that some people say, how are you still single? I would really urge you never to ask a single person that, please. Why are you still single? Makes one feel like I'm not good enough, or I'm broken, we already know that. I don't need you to remind me, okay? We know that we have some dysfunction junction somewhere in our lives, or heart, or emotions, and we're working on that, right? And if we weren't, we'd be on Tinder. So Tinder's the casual dating app, if you forgot. So yes, so I know you might say, just date Jesus, but you know, we want to be in a partnership just like you are, where you have your companion on a flight, or you go through the hard things with them, or you support one another, you pray at night, you know, those things. Those are valuable things. You raise children together. So that is what I wanted to share about that. Dating options. When you embark on this journey and you're on the date, you're going to be on a date with someone in the following categories, okay? Never been married, no children. Never been married, but has children. Divorced and no kids. Divorced with kids, which may be younger or older, and I'd like to share about that in a moment. Or widower, widowed. Those are, in general, the 5 categories that I've been able to identify as what you're dealing with as you get a little older. That is pretty much the pool of the people that you're going to meet. Never been married, no children, I thought was a great avenue, but as I've learned, people that have not had children haven't had to sacrifice for others on the same level that parents do. So that, although there may be wonderful people who have been single and have no children, they may have tendencies towards selfishness that it's not because they're selfish, it's just that their life hasn't warranted that type of sacrifice, to wake up in the middle of the night or help a child that's throwing up, or, you know, there's a lot of different, thousands of situations that will present itself in that scenario. And someone with divorce with no children, why did they get divorced? You know, there's different things to evaluate within each scenario. There's pros and cons. Divorced with children, if their children are young, they're probably paying child support for the next X amount of years. If their kids are in college, they're paying for their kids to go to college. If they're out of college, the person's probably 20 years older than me. So there's facets of all of that. I have not been married, shocker, but I do have one son. Yes, he asked me how he was made, how that was possible. So I have my own things that someone may feel reserved about. What's that story? Tell me that story. It feels like an interview when you go out with somebody and they say, How long has the dad not been involved? Is he involved? What happened? Where is he? Were you married? How long have you been divorced? Those questions are what come my way that I have to answer to. So there's a lot to consider in the dating world and a lot to vet out about the person, their character, their finances, their spiritual life. There's a whole nother component. Some people say spiritual on their profile. Some people say Christian, but you can date a Christian and they could be, they could have done anything in the past. You don't know, or what they're currently hiding in the present. So there's a lot of things to consider when vetting out prospects. So I'm on this journey. I look forward to, in the future, introducing you to my husband, who is not currently here. He couldn't make it. And I would say my call to action is be kind to single people and be a little more gracious with your own partner. Because it's a really rough world out there, and you don't have to go through any of this. Although you have your own journey, and I know, because I have not been married, I don't know what the day in and day out of 15 years or 20 years, or just this consistent things that rub each other the wrong way. But I do believe that the benefit, as long as there's not abuse or anything that you should get out of a relationship for, the benefit, I believe, it very much outweighs the negative. So, so just remember that you're one fight away from being on this journey with me. Thank you.